The sound of marching boots echoes like thunder across the wide parade ground. Armored vehicles glisten under the sunlight, fighter jets roar overhead, and missiles stand tall like iron giants. This isn't just a display of national pride. It is a message, loud, deliberate, and carefully staged. And seated in the front row, watching every detail, are two of the most scrutinized figures in world politics. Russia as Vladimir Putin and North Korea as Kim Jong-un. The scene looks like something out of history, yet it is unfolding in our own time. China has unveiled a grand military showcase, one that has captured the eyes of the world, not only for the weapons on display but for the company it kept. Rows upon rows of troops marched with machine-like precision, their uniforms pressed to perfection, their boots striking the ground in unison. Behind them rolled tanks, armored personnel carriers, and artillery vehicles designed to signal both strength and readiness. The air above filled with the rumble of fighter jets flying in perfect formation, leaving colored smoke trails across the sky. Such displays are not new for China. Military parades have long been a way to project national pride, celebrate achievements, and reinforce unity. But this time, the stakes felt higher. This wasn't just about China showing strength to its own citizens. This was about telling the world that its military power is modern, formidable, and growing. Yet what truly set this event apart were the guests. Sitting alongside Chinese leaders were Putin and Kim Jong-un, two figures whose presence alone transformed the parade into a geopolitical statement. For Putin, facing Western sanctions and isolation due to the ongoing war in Ukraine, the visit offered a chance to showcase that Russia is not without allies. For Kim Jong-un, whose regime has long relied on displays of strength for legitimacy, appearing on such a stage reinforced his ties to powerful partners. China, by inviting these leaders, sent its own message. It is willing to be seen publicly aligning, at least symbolically, with nations that often stand in opposition to the West. Observers quickly noted that the event was rich with symbolism. Military parades are theater, carefully choreographed spectacles meant to project confidence and control. Every missile on display, every squadron of jets overhead, every salute given in unison was part of a narrative. China is not only an economic giant, but also a military power on par with global rivals. The presence of Putin and Kim only amplified that symbolism. Even without formal announcements of new alliances, the imagery itself carried weight. It suggested a world where power blocks are shifting, where old alliances may be challenged by new partnerships. This spectacle did not happen in a vacuum. The world is currently grappling with multiple overlapping crises: the war in Ukraine, tensions in the South China Sea, disputes over Taiwan, and ongoing nuclear concerns on the Korean Peninsula. At the same time, the global economy faces uncertainty, rising energy costs, disrupted trade routes, and shifting supply chains. Against this backdrop, China's choice to hold such a grand display, with Putin and Kim watching closely, seemed to many analysts like a deliberate signal that the balance of global power is being tested and perhaps even redefined. But there was also an internal audience. For China's leadership, such parades serve a dual purpose. They demonstrate to citizens that the country is strong, united, and capable of defending itself against any threat. They reinforce national pride at a time when the government seeks to project stability and confidence. The domestic impact of seeing thousands of troops march in unison, backed by advanced weaponry, is powerful. It assures the public that China is not only an economic superpower, but also a military force capable of standing on equal footing with global rivals. Not everyone views these displays in the same light. For many in the West, the images of Putin and Kim seated alongside Chinese leaders sparked concern. Were we witnessing the emergence of a new axis of military cooperation? Was this simply symbolic, or did it hint at something deeper? Shared strategy, intelligence exchange, or even joint military planning. Western governments responded cautiously, emphasizing the importance of stability while quietly expressing concern over growing alignment between these powers. Analysts debated whether this was more show than substance, or if it reflected a genuine shift toward closer ties. It's important to remember that military parades are, at their core, performances. They are designed to impress, to intimidate, and to inspire. Yet the true measure of military strength lies not in parades, but in capabilities tested under pressure. Still, the optics cannot be dismissed. Images broadcast across the world showed Putin and Kim applauding as missiles rolled by. They showed jets streaking overhead while China's leadership stood proudly before a vast formation of troops. These are not images that fade quickly. They linger in public memory, shaping perceptions and influencing the calculations of policymakers worldwide. The deeper story is about change. We are living in a time when the old certainties of international order are eroding. The institutions and alliances that once seemed unshakable are being tested. New alignments are forming, sometimes quietly, sometimes openly on parade grounds. China's showcase, with Putin and Kim as its guests, may not signal an official alliance, but it does signal something important: a willingness to be seen together, to share a stage, and to send a message to the world that alternatives to Western-led alliances exist. As the parade ground emptied and the smoke trails of jets disappeared into the sky, the questions left behind were larger than the spectacle itself. Was this just a ceremonial display of pride and tradition? Or was it a preview of a shifting global order? In a world already filled with uncertainty, the sight of China's military might on display, with Putin and Kim looking on, will be remembered not just for its pageantry, but for the message it carried. The world was watching, and the implications may be felt far beyond the parade ground.